This is a great explanation of how deviant behavior occurs, okay? So if you can listen to what I say and learn how to apply this, might be a good test question, all right? But basically, at the top of this chart, you have conventional means, and conventional means that's the way everybody thinks you ought to go about something, okay? And then cultural goals. So you have goals and means, and you can apply anything in life to this. You have goals and means. If you accept the cultural goals and you accept the way you go about reaching those goals, well, then you conform to society. That's conformity, all right? Does that make sense? You got that open to this, or you got it open to something else?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Let's close it down, okay? Thank you. All right? This box here is the only box that is not deviant behavior. All right? This is the only one. All these other forms are forms of deviant behavior. So if you accept society's goals and you accept the way you go about reaching those goals, well, then you conform to society. Now, if you accept society's goals, but you reject how you're supposed to go about reaching those goals, well, then you're an innovator. Okay, now hang on. Let me explain all this, and I'll give examples. If you reject society's goals, but you accept the means to reach those goals, well, then you're a ritualist. Ritualism, and that's deviant behavior. If you reject society's goals and you reject the means to reach that goal, well, then you're a retreatist. And then in a very, very strict form of retreatism is rebellion. But the difference between a person who retreats and a person who rebels is when a person rebels against society, they set up new goals and new means. And so everybody who's in their group goes through one of these four as well. You know, so an anarchist, well, you know, are you guys following or even aware of the protests on Wall Street, and now they're in Nashville? You know, they're camping out downtown Nashville, and it's kind of a modern-day hippie movement. At least that's kind of the vibe it's got. Those people are kind of anarchists. They may be standing up for good. I mean, nobody for sure what they're standing up right now for, because there's so many different things. But in a sense, they've rebelled against the system right now. But I guarantee you, if you go down there and join their movement, you got to conform to what they're doing, or they'll kick you out. You know, because all anarchists get together and they create their own system that everybody's got to conform to, or innovate, or ritualize, or retreat from. Now, here's an example of this. Our society, and I'm not saying this is right, but this is the way it works. Our very, very strong goal we have in society is to succeed. You got to succeed. And success is usually defined in our society by what? Huh? Money. How much you have, how much stuff you have, how big's your bank account. All right, so you got to succeed, and the way you succeed is you got to have stuff. So the goal is stuff. He who dies with the most toys wins. You ever seen that bumper sticker or that saying? You know, he who dies with the most toys wins. All right? And so the goal is success. That's the cultural goal, which is defined as accumulating things. Now, what's the way that you're supposed to go about getting that type of success? You got to work hard, right? You follow me? You have to work hard. Honest day's work for an honest day's pay. The harder you work, the more you put in, the more you'll get out. Anybody can succeed in our society. All you got to do is quit complaining and pull yourself up and go. If you work as hard as the next guy, you'll be as rich as the next guy. You know. And so the goal is success, which is defined by riches or wealth. The way you get that is through hard work. So if you accept that the goal is success through stuff, and you accept the means, which is work hard, well, then you're a conformist. Does that make sense? You've accepted the goal, and you've accepted the means to reach that goal. Now, if the goal is success, which is accumulation of stuff, and you accept the goal, but you don't necessarily accept, you know, working hard, and not just working hard, by the way, but it's an honest living. All right? So you accept the goal, but you don't accept the work hard through an honest living. You innovate. And so you become a drug dealer, bank robber. You see, you figure out another means to reach the goal of success, which is defined by stuff. Does that make sense? Huh? You follow me? So you innovate. You create another way. Now, I work with people from all different types of income levels in my ministry. Though the other day, I was telling my wife, I said, it's really odd because I got up in the morning and I met these guys for coffee at McDonald's who in my community would have been some of the poorest of the poor people. Anytime I meet with them for coffee, I end up having to buy everybody coffee. And so I had coffee with the poorest of the poor. Then I had lunch with a husband and a wife who are probably, they'd be in the top 10 of probably the wealthiest families in my community. All in one day. From the poorest of the poor. And so when I talk with wealthy people, they talk about how hard they work, honest business, and that's how they got all their stuff. I talk with poor people, and a lot of people in poverty, especially if they're guys, a lot of people in poverty have spent time in jail. Usually they're in jail because they were selling drugs. Well, why were they selling drugs? Huh? For the money. Because they want to have stuff just like everybody else. Now, I'm not justifying it, but they want to have stuff just like everybody else. My daughter is working with a girl right now who's a little bit older than her. I think my daughter's 20, and this girl about 28. Maybe not quite that old. This girl is on probation for another couple years for selling drugs. She's never done drugs before in her life. But what happened? She got married at a young age. They had a child. Husband left. She went into poverty, couldn't pay her bills anymore. The job she was working didn't come close to paying her bills, and so she thought, you know what, just for a little while, somebody put her into contact with somebody where she could be a drug runner. And she told my daughter, she said, you know what, in about a 3-month time before I got caught, I'd made $70,000. And I was able to pay my bills, provide a lifestyle for my kid but then I got caught. So see, not necessarily a criminal, but she'd accepted society's goals. Everybody wants to have a comfortable lifestyle. But she'd figured out another way that went against the conventional means to get it. So innovative. All right. Now, the next one is a little tricky. If you reject the goal that success equals stuff, kind of thing, but you accept the means to reach that goal, you're a ritualist. Now here's how that works, because this is where a large number of people are. This is the person who's decided, I'm never going to be more than I am right now. I'm never going to have all those nice houses and nice cars and all that stuff that everybody says you got to have to succeed. But I'm going to get up every day and I'm going to go to my job and I'm going to work hard and do my job and come home. And that person is just going through the motions. Does that make sense? And so you ask a person like this, how's work? And they go, pays the bills. That's ritualism. It's never going to get any better. I'm never going to be a success. But society says I need to get up and go every day. And now these are good people, but it's deviant behavior because they're just going through the motions. There's a lot of people stuck in that way. And then the last one you reject, or the Ritualism, you reject society's goals and you reject the means. You retreat. In other words, you say, you know what, I don't care if I ever have anything. I don't really care about it, and I for sure don't want a job. So I'm just going to sit on the couch, become a couch potato, become a drug addict, become an alcoholic, and just kind of retreat from society. Now, a person who rebels wants to overthrow the entire system of goals and means, and so it's not, I'm not going to reject it and then get on drugs and alcohol and be lazy. I want to set up an entire system, which we'll see as the days unfold. That could be what's going on with the people who are protesting in Wall Street and now in Nashville and and other large cities around the country. They're trying to set up an entire new system of how the economy should work. All right, now, let's take college, since everybody in here is in college. All right. The goal of college is what? To graduate, to get that degree. You know, no one ever goes to college so they can get a worse job making less money. You know, so that's the goal. The goal is to go to college and get that degree so you can get a better job. Now, what's the appropriate way you go about getting that degree? You study hard, do your work, apply yourself, learn all you can, work hard. Right? You follow me? Okay? So if you accept the goal that you got to go to college and get a degree, and you accept the means, that means you got to work hard and study hard and make good grades and all that kind of stuff, you're a conformist. All right? If you accept the goal, I'll go to college and get a degree, but you reject the conventional means of working hard and studying and all that, you're an innovator. Now, what might be some ways you innovate to get the degree, but through an unconventional way? All right, you could cheat. What else might you do? Huh? Plagiarize. All right. Find some college online that you can send them $100 and they send you a degree. You know they're out there, don't you? Now, they're not worth much, but you can pay these schools in other countries in Bahamas, you pay them some money, and they'll send you a degree that you can hang on your wall that you've got a Bachelor's of Art from this unaccredited. You know, now if anybody knows what they're doing when you go to look for a job, they're going to do some investigating. But who knows? You may get by. So you see, you got a degree, but you did it another way. All right. Now, if you reject the idea of ever getting a degree, but you accept going to school, well, this is the person that takes them 10 years to get through a 2-year degree. You know, about the time they graduate, they change their major because in reality, they never want to get out of college and get out there into the real world. They like being in school. They become career students. You know, just like the classes and don't want to. Anybody know anybody like that? You know. Now, the retreatism is kind of like the guy with no job. I don't want to go to college, and I for sure don't want to work hard, so I'm just going to retreat. You know, stay at home all day, be a couch potato. Be lazy, do my own thing, but I'm not going to rebel because rebellion would be going out and setting up an entirely new system of how you get a better job and the importance of college and so forth, all right? Which could be some of the for-profit schools kind of idea or return back to tech schools and mentorships, apprentices, where you do the same thing in it with the same thing, but through a whole new system. But again, out of all of these, this is the only one that's not deviant. All these, in one degree, are a form of deviant behavior. This one would be neutral, basically. You know, this is negative, usually. It could be positive if it ends up changing something for the good. Retreat is negative for sure, because nothing ever gets accomplished that way. All right, that's the Merton's strain theory of deviance.